Today is our first Insights from the Field. This is a very intentional part of our podcast series, not just talking to thought leaders and innovators, but also taking the things that we're learning in our work every day, things that really matter in terms of institutional sustainability, building the future of higher education, but the things that we're learning from campuses and leaders that we believe really is important to share. We're grateful for your listening. EdUp Insights and Insights from the Field is going to be available regularly on all streaming platforms. It's also going to be available on YouTube. Our contact information will be there, and we want you to engage. Topics that you need to know about, questions that you may have, even other guests that you may want us to include in this very practical and applied set of conversations that we want to have. And of course, our work every day is Husch Blackwell Consulting, a wholly owned subsidiary of Husch Blackwell, which today stands as one of the most productive and far-reaching law firms in terms of higher education law in the country. Incredible partners who work every day to help institutions, regulatory compliance, certainly the headwinds of where the world is and what it's doing to higher education right now. And we partner with these education attorneys to provide strategy, practice, synthesis to all that to be usable and cost effective in the work. This work, if you defined it and where insights will come from, strategic governance and leadership, building the capacity internally to move institutions from current state to future state. Institutional restructuring, academic restructuring, reallocation of resources, vitally important as perhaps resources are more scarce, but outcomes more needed. Crisis management, helping you when you need it most. And finally, what we get most excited about is innovation, creating the future of college, which all of these elements are part of. But I could not ask for a better thought partner, friend and colleague than Dr. Therese Scanlan to be doing this work. And we're going to rely on her very much on insights from the field of what we're hearing, what we're learning, and how to translate that to you. So, Therese, welcome.
Well, thanks, Chuck. Good to be here today with you.
Well, and we share many things in common.
We do.
Uh, we both served multiple institutions, different institution types, and some people refer to us as former presidents.
Yep, that's true.
And I'm going to kind of redefine that today. I'm not so sure someone with presidential experience ever stops being a president. We may not run things, but we do care and bring passion. And Therese, it's always a circuitous journey to get to where you are today, but let's just share who's Therese Scanlan and how did you come to Husch Blackwell Consulting?
Oh boy. I'm not sure. No, when I was a little girl, I thought I just want to be a college president. Said
Mm,
no one ever, right?
right.
Or that you even would think that higher education or working in a college would be a career path. That's just, it wasn't on my radar, that's for sure. Um, I grew up thinking I was going to be a dentist, and then I had a lovely experience in my freshman year of college where I thought, oh, I can't do all this science stuff. Now, it had a lot to do with I wasn't prepared because I went from being a junior in high school to being a freshman in college. And probably if I could do it all over again, would do things a little bit differently. But I ended up getting a degree in mathematics because it was the next thing that I kind of knew. So I understand what a lot of kids go through because you just don't know what to pick and you don't know what to do and you just pick something. But I can tell you, I came across so many barriers when I was going through my undergraduate experience that I thought it shouldn't be like this. And never did I ever think, well, actually, I said this. Uh, One of the worst experiences I had was in the financial aid office at my undergraduate institution. And I thought, oh, I'll never do that kind of work. And holy heck, the first job out of college was in the financial aid office at an institution. So I worked really hard through my career to help kids I'm sorry, students understand, um, you know, all the languages that we have in higher ed and take away as many barriers as possible. And so I did work in financial aid for quite a bit of my career until I started diversifying into, also the business office stuff and working my way up into, CFO and chief operating officer to president. And I agree with you, Chuck. I think, once you have that experience as a president, it doesn't leave you. It's how you are thinking. It's how you want to help other institutions, and that's what you and I both do. We kind of help them think through the things that are really tough. Sometimes the things that are in front of them that they don't even understand that are there because it's the way they always did things. I mean, I can't tell you how many times you and I have had conversations with presidents and they're like, I never thought about it like that, right? And so I think it's really rewarding to do what we do because we're still having an impact, just not directly. We're helping other presidents do their jobs a little bit better.
Yeah, and we've also said many times, Therese, to clients and relationships that we've sat on the other side of the table.
Yep.
We have our own experiential knowledge of consultants,
Oh
um,
yeah. Which
and
isn't always good.
well, I'll ask you to speak to this, but it's not infrequent that we say we're really not consultants.
Right. Right.
We're
I would
practitioners.
we are absolutely practitioners. And I did do a stint years ago with a consulting firm and worked in a college system. Um, and we were always thought of as, oh, those consultants. Well, I was not a consultant. I was in doing the work with the people I was partnering with. And that's what we do with how we approach our work at Hush Blackwell Consulting is we're not just sitting there pontificating about what could or couldn't be. It is we're getting into the data, good, bad, or ugly, as we've seen. We are listening a lot and then saying, well, have you thought about this? We're not just saying, here's some data, go do whatever you need to do. We're actually giving them some real world experience and real world potential solutions and ideas in order to move their institutions in the right direction.
In many ways, extra set of hands and feet, right?
Mhm.
And at times a nudge, and depends on who's nudging. It's sometimes boards, it's sometimes senior teams.
Mhm.
We do share one other thing in common that's important to both of us, and probably absolutely the critical element of how we got to work and build Hush Blackwell Consulting. But that's Haley Hansen and her leadership of Hush Blackwell. A little bit about your friendship, and I can share just a bit of mine.
Yeah. So, the university that I was working at last, we were part of a healthcare system for a long time. And we were one of the first institutions in the country that were told that we couldn't be a department of a hospital or a subsidiary of a hospital. We had to be a separate corporation. And we met Haley back in 2010, 2011. And she helped us through that process with the Higher Learning Commission and the U.S. Department of Education, and it was a very great experience with Haley and the team, the rest of the education team at Hush Blackwell, and walking through all this unknown stuff because we were second, right? And so we had no idea what we were. I mean, I know what we were supposed to do, but having never done it, it's really difficult. Now, I will say, after that, I went through which that was a change of control process because we were part of a healthcare system. We went through probably six or seven other change of control systems, and so I think I probably have the record in the country of doing so many changes of control. Which I don't really like that, but I'm kind of an expert with the people at Hush Blackwell on that.
Well, and my thought partnership and friendship with Haley goes back to about the same time period when she served as our third party general counsel. at the
Hmm.
University of Central Missouri. And I frequently tell people why Hush Blackwell Consulting, because extraordinarily not only provided third-party general counsel, but was a key strategic voice and participant at the table of creating the future of the university. So, as equally as value as keeping the president out of trouble, she was really a good mentor for younger senior team leaders,
Yep.
but key strategic element. And I think it really speaks, and I think this is what I want to really offer to our listeners, because this Insight series is meant to translate all of this knowledge transfer in usable form to your own campuses. But it really speaks to why a national leader in higher education law would consider practitioners and that circle, because just in your experiences, Therese, there's having an attorney, but there's also having strategy and support and guidance, um, and uh, and we're seeing that every day, aren't we, with
Oh
the way
gosh.
we do our work.
Yeah. Whether it's you and I working with clients or us working with one of the education attorneys, the way we approach things is very different. And it's very consultative, not consultant. Uh, and I think, the especially the attorneys really appreciate having us on the team in a lot of ways because we bring a different perspective. Yes, they're experts at the law and in a lot of ways strategy because they've helped so many institutions through a lot of different situations and legal or not. But we also then complement what they do and bring a different kind of air to the engagement.
So if you're going back, and I want to be specific to our listeners, if you're going back to your administrative roles for on-campus leadership, how best to engage with Hush Blackwell Consulting?
Mhm.
Uh, what questions would you ask? And then in practical terms, just an invitation to those that may want to have a conversation about how to reach us.
Sure. How to best engage with us? Well, Chuck and I are really nice people, but um, so I think we are very accessible. We talk to people whether or not we're charging you for it. We have conversations about what your, biggest issue is, and we've got plenty of experience between Chuck and I and others on our team to bring a different perspective to your campus that you internally can't necessarily see. I can't tell you how many times we've sat down with presidents and or senior staff and said, what did you think about this? And then the light bulb goes off and they go about, their way and figure out what it is that needs to happen. And then there's other times that we're really embedded in the institution and digging deep in their data and digging deep into their, administrative practices and helping them. I mean, there's a client that we've had recently that, I asked a simple question about a type of employee that they had, and they didn't realize they were spending over $1 million on that kind of employee. And they've made some adjustments based on those kinds of insights that they wouldn't necessarily look at, where those of us that are sitting on the outside who have lived it would say, it's time to start thinking about these things. One of the biggest things that we help with is, you know, when institutions are trying to figure out their direction moving forward, um, it's very easy to start picking on the administrative side of the world, right? Because if you have five people working in financial aid, you cut it down to four. If you have, a dozen police officers on your campus, you bring it down to 11. But that's just part of the situation, right? You really have to look at the whole enterprise. And we've been helping a lot of institutions look at faculty productivity, which I know is not always the easiest thing to look at because that's core to who we are and what we do in this business. But there's a lot of savings and a lot of how things have always been done that we help institutions really look at and start doing business differently. And I know that's calling it a business is not always looked upon very nicely in higher ed, but I'm sorry, we're a business. and our business is education, but we have to do it efficiently and effectively.
You mentioned a couple things that are foundational to who we are and what we do at Hush Blackwell Consulting. One is to be data informed and utilize data informed storytelling. We do have a full complement of resources and tools
Yep.
that are designed to do everything from helping you improve your operating margins to your allocation of resources to identifying signature programs and where to invest. Equally as important as when you're trying to cost contain.
Yep.
We really appreciate this introductory opportunity to say who we are and what we do. As we move insights forward, we're going to get highly technical.
That we are.
We're going to think very focused on things like academic portfolios and modified cash to improve liquidities, athletic value studies to decide where in the world you fit in this crazy athletic environment.
Yep.
Strategic, not just planning, but strategic sustainability in governance and in administration. And so we look forward to these. They're going to be usable. Again, if you would subscribe, certainly share. And then you can always engage with Therese and I at hushblackwell.com and or our resources that will be listed in this EdUp Insight series. So Therese, we look forward to what's next. It's never boring, and
Nope.
it's never the same, right?
That's very true.
And so we'll see you on the next episode of EdUp Insights.
Absolutely.